Welcome back, coin hunters. What if the ordinary-looking coins sitting in your pocket, your old collection, or even a forgotten jar at home could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, or in some extraordinary cases, enough to make you a millionaire?
What if I told you that the penny sitting in your cup holder right now, the one you probably wouldn't even bend over to pick up, could be worth $1 million? I'm not talking about some obscure coin from the 1800s. I'm talking about a 1951 wheat penny. And it's not just any 1951 penny. It's one that has a tiny little detail that 99.9% of people completely miss. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for, and I promise you, you are never going to look at pocket change the same way again. Let's rewind to 1951. The world was a different place. The Korean War was raging, and the U.S. economy was booming. The Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were cranking out hundreds of millions of these copper pennies. In fact, they made so many of them that most are worth exactly what you think they are, about 2 or 3 cents. But hold on, don't walk away yet. Because embedded in all that common copper, there are a few that are worth more than gold. How much more? Stick with me, because the answer is going to knock your socks off. So what makes a 1951 penny special? Well, the first thing you need to understand is the wheat design. This isn't the modern penny with the Lincoln Memorial on the back. This has the 2 stalks of wheat. It's the classic design from 1909 to 1958. But the real magic isn't the wheat, it's what's hidden in the date. Stop. Look at your penny. Do you see a tiny letter under the 1951? If you have a D, it was made in Denver. If you have an S, it came from San Francisco. And if there's no letter at all, that means it's from the big Philadelphia mint. Now here's where it gets fun. If you have a 1951 D penny, meaning it was struck in Denver, look closer at that D. I mean, grab a magnifying glass, because this is where the $1 million mystery lives. Are you looking? Does that D look a little weird to you? Like, does it look like there might be a ghost image of an S hiding in it? If it does, you might just be holding a coin worth a small fortune. Let me explain. During the crazy production schedules, the mint workers would sometimes reuse dies. A die meant for the San Francisco mint, stamped with an S, was later stamped with a D for Denver. This is called an over-mint mark, specifically the 1951 D/S variety. And if you find a clear one, we are talking about serious money. Depending on the condition, a 1951 D over mint mark penny can sell for anywhere from $15 to over $50 for a really nice example. But wait, there's more. What if I told you that your penny could be worth over $2,000? A few years ago, a 1951 penny with a specific doubled die obverse, meaning the lettering looks slightly doubled, especially in the words Liberty and In God We Trust, sold for a massive chunk of change. At an auction, one of these hit a staggering $2,160. Here's the thing. Most people don't know about this. They have jars of pennies sitting in the closet, and they are sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. But wait, I said $1 million at the start. Let me take you a step further. We talked about the over mint mark. We talked about the doubled die. But what about the 1951 proof pennies? The ones that were polished to a mirror finish and sold to collectors? Those are worth a good bit, maybe up to $3,000 in perfect condition. But $1 million? Honestly, that specific price tag, $1 million for this coin, is extremely rare and mostly hype. But don't let that disappoint you. Because while a standard 1951 penny won't buy you a mansion, discovering an error penny absolutely is a lottery ticket. What kind of errors should you look for? I'm talking about a missing L in Liberty. If that L is weak or missing, your coin's value starts going up. I'm talking about a BI error, which is a little die chip between the B and E in Liberty. Those can be worth between $10 and $100. Look for coins that were struck off center. If your penny looks like it was hit slightly sideways, with part of the design missing, that can be worth up to $100. Or look for a broad struck error, where the coin is wider than normal because the collar that holds it in place didn't engage. Here's the needle in a haystack section. The true $1 million holy grail for the Lincoln Wheat Cent series is the 1943 copper penny, not 1951. But those 1951 errors? They are way more common than you think, which means your chance of finding one is higher than winning the Powerball. So, here's my challenge to you. After this video ends, go grab your spare change. Take a picture of a 1951 penny if you have one and post it in the comments. Does it have a D? An S? No mint mark? Is it weird? Let's see what you've got. But don't just look at 1951. If you have pennies from the 1940s, the 1950s, check them all. I can't tell you how many times someone has sent me a picture of a coin they almost spent, only to find out it's worth a few $100s. If you want to stay in the loop and find out more secrets about the money hiding in your pocket, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you don't miss our next video, where we dive into the 1969's double die, another penny worth a cool million. But for now, good luck hunting. Imagine finding a quarter in your pocket, a 1997 D quarter, and discovering it's worth more than $1 million. That is not a headline from a clickbait article. That is a reality for a very lucky few who knew exactly what to look for. Most people look at a 1997 D Washington quarter and see 25 cents. They see a coin to use at a vending machine or toss in a jar. But if you are listening to this, you are about to learn the secret that separates those people from the ones who cash in big. Now, before you scroll away thinking this is too good to be true, let's stop and think for a second. Do you have a jar of old change in your house? Did you get some quarters back in change today? Then this could be you. Today we are breaking down the exact secrets of the 1997 D quarter, what makes one worth a fortune, and how you can tell if the coin in your hand is the $1 million jackpot. We are talking about a coin that, on the surface, looks completely ordinary. It was minted in 1997. It has a D for Denver, and nearly 600 million of them were made. That is a massive number. So how could a common coin be worth $1 million? This is where most people make their biggest mistake. They see the mintage number and assume every coin is the same. But the reality is that while there were close to 600 million of these quarters minted, only a microscopic fraction of them exist in a condition that collectors go absolutely insane for. Think of it this way. You could find a piece of paper with a scribble on it. That is one thing. But if you found a handwritten draft by a president, that is a completely different ballgame. That is the difference between a worn-out coin that has been kicked around for 25 years and a pristine coin that looks like it just left the mint yesterday. Let's dive into the physical details. If you hold a 1997 D quarter in your hand, you are holding a piece of history. It weighs about 5.67 grams. It has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge. The obverse features George Washington facing left, with Liberty at the top and In God We Trust to the left of his neck. The D mint mark is located on the obverse, to the right of Washington's ponytail. The reverse shows the classic heraldic eagle with outstretched wings. But here's the twist. The value isn't in the design, it's in the preservation. The $1 million versions of this coin are the ones that have been graded as mint state 68 or higher. That is a near-perfect coin. To give you an idea of how rare that is, the PCGS population report shows that out of the hundreds of millions of coins struck, only a tiny handful have ever achieved that MS68 grade. As of a recent check, there were 0 examples graded higher than MS68. Let that sink in for a moment. That means the 1997 D quarter in MS68 is literally one of the best preserved examples of that entire mintage. You might be wondering how this can be. How can a coin made in 1997 be so rare in high grades? This is the history lesson. The Washington quarter design was ending its run in 1998 to make way for the 50-state quarters program. There was a change in how the coins were being made at the Denver Mint. In fact, President Clinton signed the 50 States Commemorative Coin Program Act into law on December 1, 1997. This meant that for collectors, the 1997 issue became a transitional piece. It is the end of an era. But there is more to the story. The Denver Mint was in the middle of a massive 5-year, $100 million plan to modernize its equipment. They were buying high-speed presses, annealing furnaces, the whole 9 yards. During this time, the Denver Mint, under new leadership, was operating with extreme efficiency. This modernization led to some incredibly high-quality strikes. However, because they were also getting rid of older equipment and trying to adapt to new tech, there were some interesting errors that made it into circulation. We are not just talking about high grades. There are also the errors. The 1997 D quarter can have what is known as a railroad rim, or a spaghetti hair variety. There is also the double die error. These can make an otherwise common coin worth a significant premium. But the high grade? That is the holy grail. The coin in MS68 condition has been described as having full, sharp details and incredible luster. So let's get to the part you have been waiting for. The money. If you find a 1997 D quarter that is just worn and circulated, it's worth exactly 25 cents, no more, no less. If you find one in great shape, like an MS65 or MS66, you might be looking at $50 to $75. But if you find that pristine, perfect MS-68 coin? We are talking about a coin that has the potential to sell for hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million. The specific sale of a 1997 MS-68 has shown that this coin is in such high demand that serious collectors will pay whatever it takes to own the best of the best. You can feel the adrenaline pumping, right? This is the kind of treasure hunt that pays off. Here is what you need to do right now. Grab that jar of coins. Go through your pocket change. Look at every 1997 D quarter you can find. You need to look at the details. Is the hair sharp? Are the letters crisp? Do you see any imperfections? If it looks like it just came out of a roll, you might have something serious. The best way to tell is to look at the coin under magnification. But even without a magnifying glass, if the coin is bright, shiny, and looks fresh, that is your golden ticket. Put it in a plastic baggie, do not touch the face of the coin, and get it graded by PCGS or NGC. This is the moment where you could change your financial future. This coin is a needle in a haystack, but someone is going to find it. Why not you? Drop a comment below and tell me the oldest coin you have found in your pocket change. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe for more hidden money secrets you can find right in your home. The money is out there. You just have to know where to look. You know that jar of pennies sitting on your nightstand? Or that old coin purse buried in your sock drawer? Yeah, that one. You might want to go grab it right now. Because there is a specific penny, a 1979 D Lincoln cent, that could make you $1 million. Not 1,000. Not 10,000. We are talking life-changing, quit your job, buy a house money. But there's a catch. Only a few of these exist, and finding one is like winning the lottery. But what if you already have one and don't even know it? Let's flash back to 1979. The Denver Mint is cranking out pennies like crazy. I'm talking over 4 billion of these things left the mint that year. 4 billion. That's why when you find a 1979 penny with a D mint mark in your pocket change, your first instinct is usually to toss it back into the ashtray of your car, right? And for the most part, you'd be right. The average 1979 D penny is just that, average. Unless it's in absolutely flawless condition, it's usually only worth about 1 cent. If you're really lucky and find a super shiny uncirculated one at a coin shop, you might get $1 for it. Maybe 5 if the dealer is feeling generous. But here's the plot twist. In 1979, something went horribly wrong at the Denver Mint. The men and women striking these coins made a mistake. And that tiny little mistake, hidden in plain sight on the front of the coin, is the key to a hidden fortune. Because while you've been sleeping on the 1979 D, there is a specific, almost ghost-like version of this coin that auction houses would fight over. It's so rare that the coin community still whispers about it. It's a type of mint error that usually doesn't show up on this date. But when it does, hold on to your hats. We call this the double die error. Wait, no? Actually, for the 1979 D, it's not the big famous double die like the 1955 version. A lot of collectors think that's the only way to get rich, but they're looking in the wrong place. The money isn't in the classic doubling. It's in the mint mark, that little D right under the date. You see, in 1979, the mint marks were punched into the dies by hand. And sometimes, the punch broke, or the machine hit the die twice. This created a repunched mint mark, or RPM. Most of these RPMs on the 1979 D are pretty common. You might see a little extra notch on the bottom of the D, and that's cool, but it's only worth a few bucks. It's a nice find, but you're not retiring on it. So, what's the $1 million secret? It's not a repunch, and it's not a double die. What if I told you the coin doesn't look like it has doubling at all? In fact, it looks completely normal. And that is exactly why you haven't found it yet. Here's the twist. The real value isn't in a double die. It's in a transitional error. Did you know that 1979 was the tail end of the copper penny era? In 1982, the U.S. Mint switched the composition of pennies from 95% copper to mostly zinc. But here's the secret. What if, just what if, some of the zinc planchets got mixed in with the copper planchets at the Denver Mint in 1979? Imagine that. A 1979 D Lincoln penny that weighs less than 3 grams because it's not made of copper, it's made of zinc. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the opposite. A copper penny from a year when they were supposed to be pure, but something just doesn't add up. But hold on. I can see you grabbing your magnifying glass right now, and that's good. But you need to stop looking at the front of the coin for a second. Flip it over. Look at the reverse, the memorial side. Look at the designer's initials, FG, on the lower right. Do you see how close the F and G are to the building? If you've ever heard of the close AM or wide AM error on pennies, You probably know that it's huge money on the 1992 pennies. They can be worth thousands. But on a 1979D, most people don't even check. The wide AM variety is rare in the 1980s. But for 1979, if you find a 1979D with the AM in America spaced widely apart, it's the result of a reverse die from the 1980s being used. Boom. Instant collector's item. This is the kind of subtle difference that turns a penny into a party. But wait, I told you there was $1,000,000 coin. Let's cut to the chase. There is a specific grade, a specific color, and a specific error that makes the 1979D go nuclear. What if the coin wasn't just shiny, but it was made of pure copper, planchets that weren't supposed to be there? Imagine a 1979D cent that is in mint state 67 red condition. That means it looks like it was minted yesterday, with a brilliant, unbroken copper luster. Just that, without any errors, can sell for nearly $4,000. No kidding. A flawless copper penny, just for being pretty, is worth thousands. Now combine that perfection with one of those weird errors, like a die crack that looks like a cud, or a wild off-center strike. Boom. You're looking at an increase in value that is just mind-blowing. But you want the $1,000,000, right? The truth is, there is no known 1979D penny officially recorded selling for $1,000,000 in a major auction house like Heritage Auctions. That number is the hype. That is the dream. But the reality is still a massive payday. The most sought-after Lincoln cents, like the 1969S double die, can sell for over $50,000 or even break into six figures. So, while $1,001,979D might be the holy grail that hasn't been found yet, finding a high-grade error coin from that year means you are walking away with a check that can buy a new car, pay off a mortgage, or start a business. So, here's where you come in. Are you really going to let that penny sit in a jar for another 40 years? Grab that change. Look at the date. 1979. Look at the mint mark. D. Now look at the coin like you've never looked at it before. Check the color. Is it bright copper, or does it look suspiciously dull and silverish? That could be a clue. Look at the details in Lincoln's hair. Look at the memorial columns. And most importantly, if you think you see a ghost, a shadow, or anything that looks out of place on that D, or the reverse, don't put it back. If you find something, you need to get it graded. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not scratch it. That patina and luster are what the graders at PCGS and NGC look for. You just need to get a photo and send it off. It might be a $5 coin. It might be a $5,000 coin. Or, it just might be the one that proves everyone wrong. Now, I have to ask, what's the oldest coin you've ever found in your pocket? Was it a wheat penny? A silver dime? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. And hey, if you want to learn more secrets about the spare change hiding in your couch, secrets that the banks don't want you to know, hit that subscribe button. Because the next coin I'm going to show you could be sitting right under your nose. It's not a penny. It looks like a regular quarter, but it's worth more than gold. I'll see you in the next video. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket change that could actually buy you a house. $1,000,000 house. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you there's a specific version of the 1952D wheat penny that has the potential to be worth exactly that, and there might be one sitting in an old jar in your closet right now? Today, we are going on a treasure hunt. You're about to learn the exact secrets that could turn a single cent into a seven-figure payday. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to be digging through every penny you own. So, you have a handful of old pennies. Maybe you got them as change from the gas station, or you have a piggy bank from the 1960s. You probably think they are just junk. Specifically, the 1952D Lincoln Wheat Cent. Over 700 million of these were stamped at the Denver Mint. That is a massive number. You can look online at a price guide, and it will tell you a standard 1952D is worth about $1 to $2 if it's in decent shape. Some uncirculated versions might be worth a few bucks. So, you might toss it back into the drawer, thinking it's worthless. But hold on. Don't make that mistake. The true value isn't in the coin itself. It's in the mistakes made at the mint over 70 years ago. Here is the $1,000,000 twist. If you have a standard copper 1952D, you aren't rich. It's the super rare steel 1952D that holds the massive value. But here is the critical reality check. The U.S. Mint made precisely 0 steel pennies in 1952. They were pure copper. So where are all these steel pennies coming from? This is the most common trap that tricks people into thinking they have $1,000,000. If you see a 1952D that is silver or gray, your heart might start racing. But in almost every single case, that coin was plated after it left the mint, often as a science experiment in school to show how electrolysis works. The coin is magnetic? Plated. It has an unnaturally shiny surface? Plated. It's a fake out, and it's a mistake that gets thousands of people excited for nothing. However, there is a specific error that creates a massive payout. It's called the D over S over mint mark, or the FS 511. During the minting process, the die used to stamp the D was accidentally repunched over an old S die. If you look under a magnifying glass, you can see the ghost of an S hiding underneath the D. But even that isn't the one we're hunting for today. Because while the D/S is valuable, it's the double die obverse that collectors are obsessed with. Look closely at the date. Specifically, look at the number 9 and the 5 in 1952. Do they look thicker than usual? Do you see a shadow or a split in the lettering of Liberty or In God We Trust? That's the die slipping during the hubbing process, and it creates a doubled image. That's the double die obverse that can skyrocket a coin's value. But wait, maybe it's not the die that was messed up. Maybe it was the planchet, the blank disc the coin is stamped on. If your 1952 D is the wrong size or weight, you might be holding something insane. We mentioned the steel myth, but what if it was struck on a dime planchet? That coin would be smaller, lighter, and silver-colored. That is a legitimate multi-thousand-dollar error. Or maybe the strike was off-center. In 2021, a 1952 D that was struck about 30% off-center sold for over $300. But here is the truth bomb. I need to be brutally honest with you. You've seen the clickbait titles. 1952 D wheat penny worth $1 million. The reality is that nearly all of those headlines are AI-generated clickbait designed to get you to click so they can make ad revenue. The vast majority of collectors and experts have never seen a legitimately valuable 1952 D error coin in circulation. Coin dealers are actually being overwhelmed right now with people bringing in regular 1952 D pennies or plated science experiments, asking for $1 million. It's so common that it drives the experts crazy. So, how do you protect yourself from getting scammed or from tossing away a fortune? First, weigh it. A standard 1952 D weighs 3.11 grams. If it's lighter or magnetic, it's plated or a different metal. Second, use a magnifying glass. A 10x jeweler's loupe is your best friend. Look for that doubling on the date and letters. Third, and this is the kicker, look for the big money errors, the D over S over mint mark or the full brockage error, where a coin stuck to the die and stamped a mirror image onto the next coin. Those can reach into the thousands. The bottom line is this. While a standard 1952 D wheat penny is just a neat piece of history worth maybe $1 or $2, the error coins, the ones with the D over S, the double die, or the off-center strike, are the real hidden gems. So, here's my challenge to you. Go grab your change jar. Pull out any 1952 D pennies you have and look at them under a magnifying glass. Check the D for an S shadow. Check the date for doubling. And before you go, drop a comment below. What is the oldest penny you've ever found in your pocket change? I want to hear your stories. If you enjoyed this treasure hunt and want to learn more about the hidden riches sitting in your house, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. You never know when a small piece of metal in your pocket might just change your life. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Imagine this. You're grabbing a coffee, paying with a handful of loose change, and you get a quarterback that looks a little off. Maybe the lettering looks doubled, or the strike is a little crooked. Big deal, right? Just another 25 cents. Wrong. That quarter could be $1 million mistake. I'm talking about a specific coin. A quarter with the P mint mark, minted right in Philadelphia during one specific year, 1986. Now listen, the mint produced over 500 million of these quarters. 500 million. That makes them common, right? That's what everyone thinks. That's the reason this coin is slipping through your fingers and into cash registers every single day, completely unnoticed. But here's the secret. In that massive, ho-hum batch of 1986 Philadelphia quarters, there are a few that are hiding a very expensive secret. An error. A mistake at the mint that turned a worthless piece of copper nickel into a fortune. We're talking about a coin that could be worth as much as a house. And I'm going to show you exactly what that secret looks like. You need to look at the face of the coin, right at the head of George Washington. Specifically, you have to look at the letters in the phrase, "In God We Trust," and the word liberty. If you see a ghostly shadow, a doubling of those letters, you are not looking at a normal quarter. That is a double die obverse error. It happened when the die, the stamp that presses the design onto the coin, was made. It got one impression from the master hub, and then, bam, it got a second, slightly off-kilter impression. This transferred a faint, but very real, doubling onto every single coin that die ever stamped. The really wild part? Standard coins from that year might sell for 30 to 85 cents. But a 1986 P quarter with a clearly visible double die obverse? In high grade, collectors are paying anywhere from $150 to over $300 for those. But wait, it gets even better. If you flip that coin over to the back, the tail side, there might be another jackpot. Look at the eagle's tail feathers and the lettering that says United States of America. If you see that same ghostly doubling there, that's a double die reverse error. It's rarer than the obverse version, and that makes it even more valuable. A high-grade 1986P with a DDR error can easily fetch upwards of $250, sometimes even more. But we aren't done yet. This is where it gets seriously crazy. You have to look at the edge of the coin. If the design is punched way off-center, leaving a blank, crescent-shaped area of metal, you've hit gold. The more off-center it is, the better. A quarter that's 20% off-center is cool. But a 1986 P quarter that's struck over 50% off-center, with the date still fully visible, that's a coin that collectors are willing to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for. It becomes a display piece, a conversation starter, a true rarity. But wait, there's an even rarer error that will blow your mind. Some of these 1986 P quarters have missing letters. Imagine looking at the phrase, "In God We Trust," and the final T is just gone, or the letter I is completely missing from the phrase. There have even been documented cases where the P mint mark itself is missing. It sounds impossible, but when you're producing billions of coins, a little grease can get packed into the tiny crevices of the die, literally filling in the letters. When that die stamps a coin, the letters don't show up. A complete I missing from "In God We Trust" or a missing P mint mark turns a 25-cent coin into a four-figure, life-changing treasure. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. How many times have you gotten a 1986 quarter and just spent it? How many times has one of these million-dollar mistakes passed right through your hands? Here's the reality. Experts list the 1986 P among the most valuable modern Washington quarters, right alongside the classic 1932 D, which sold for over $140,000. Think about that. This isn't some far-fetched fantasy. It's a proven fact that coin collectors pay huge sums for mint errors from the 1980s. So here's the million-dollar question I need you to ask yourself. Where is your loose change? Is it in a jar on your dresser? Is it in a box in your closet? Is it sitting in your pocket right now? This is your homework. And I'm not kidding. Go grab that old coin jar. Pull out every single 1986 quarter. Get a magnifying glass and a bright light. Examine that coin like a detective at a crime scene. Look at George's face. Is the date doubled? Check the words "In God We Trust." Is there an extra shadow? Are any letters missing? Flip it over. Are the eagle's tail feathers doubled? Is the strike perfectly centered, or is it dramatically off-center? If you find even one of these things, stop. Put it in a plastic bag. Don't rub it. Don't clean it. Cleaning it will destroy its value. And then, do yourself a favor. Take it to a professional coin dealer. Or submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because believe me, the difference between a 25-cent cup of gum and a $100,000 payday is literally looking closely at the quarter in the palm of your hand. So what do you think? Do you have a roll of 86 Ps sitting around the house? Are you going to check your change tonight? Let me know in the comments if you find something crazy. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more secrets on how to find hidden money in your pocket change. You won't believe what some of these coins are actually worth. I'll see you in the next video. What if I told you that the penny sitting in your cup holder, the one you barely even look at, could be worth $1 million? Not 1,000, not 10,000, $1 million. Today, we're talking about the 1988 penny. But not just any 1988 penny. We're talking about the one that's missing something or someone. And if you find it, your life changes. So here's the deal. In 1988, the U.S. Mint was working overtime. We're talking about a year where they pumped out over 6 billion pennies. 6 billion. That's a lot of copper-plated zinc. Most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. Spend them, toss them in a fountain, it doesn't matter. But there's a ghost story hiding in those millions of coins. What if your 1988 penny was struck with a die that was so worn out, or so heavily polished, that Abraham Lincoln just disappeared? You heard me right. No Lincoln. The face is just gone. And if you think that sounds rare, that's because it is. Imagine Abraham Lincoln, the guy who's been on the penny since 1909, just wiped off the face of the coin. It's unsettling, isn't it? You're looking at a coin that's supposed to have the 16th president on it, and instead, it's just blank. The story behind this is actually kind of wild. The mint has these things called dies, which are like the stamps that press the image onto the coin. Over time, those dies get damaged or worn. Sometimes the mint workers polish them to smooth out the scratches. But if they polish too aggressively, they can literally erase the details of the design. So while it's not a traditional error like a misprint, it's a variety that's unique. And experts will tell you, these polished die coins are a big deal. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't the only $1,988 penny myth out there. Have you heard of the no mint mark penny? A lot of people are convinced that a 1988 penny without a D for Denver is worth a fortune. But you need to listen to me closely on this. All 1988 pennies struck in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark. That's just how they were made. It's standard. So if someone is trying to sell you a 1988 penny with no mint mark for $1 million, run away. It's fake. But wait, there's more. There's a $64,000 penny from 1988. And this one is real. I'm talking about the 1988 double-ear penny. It's a mint error so bizarre that you almost can't believe it's legal tender. If you look closely at Lincoln's profile, specifically his ear, there's a second earlobe underneath the original one. It's like a ghost image, a shadow of an ear. This happens when the die shifts during the stamping process and creates a doubled image. That specific mistake sold for $64,000. And here's the kicker. Only 3 of these have ever been certified by the grading services. Now, back to our missing Lincoln coin. Is it $1 million? Well, the market hasn't seen one sell for that yet, but the possibility creates that incredible suspense we all love. It's not even about the exact number. It's about the treasure hunt. The thrill of thinking you could have won. In the numismatic world, coins with dramatic errors or missing elements have always demanded a huge premium. Just look at the 1988 D Flair G variety, where the G in the designer's initials is misshapen. That can be worth nearly $1,000. So imagine what happens when the entire face of the president goes missing. Think about this. What if you walked into a local coin shop today, plunked this penny on the counter, and watched the dealer's eyes go wide? That's the dream, right? But this isn't about the money, at least, not entirely. It's about paying attention. It's about the rush of looking at the change in your pocket and realizing that something as mundane as a penny could be a hidden artifact. So, here's your mission. Grab that jar of change you've been ignoring. Find a 1988 penny. Look at the front. Is Lincoln there? Look at the back. Is it missing anything? Is there an extra earlobe? This is real life, and there are still treasures out there waiting to be found. Don't be the person who spends $1 million penny on a gumball. If you find something weird, keep it safe. Put it in a protective sleeve. Don't clean it. That's a rookie mistake that ruins the value. And most importantly, do your research. And if you want to make sure you never miss out on these hidden money secrets again, hit that subscribe button. We're digging through the couch cushions to find your future fortune. Thanks for watching. You're not going to believe what I found in my change jar. I'm talking about a penny that could be worth $1 million. And no, this isn't clickbait. This is the real deal. You need to check your pockets right now. If you have a 1953 wheat penny with a certain mark, you could be holding a life-changing fortune. Stick around, because I'm about to show you exactly what to look for. So, you probably have a jar of old pennies sitting in your closet, right? Maybe you inherited them from a grandparent, or maybe you just toss your spare change in there and forget about it. Here's the thing. Most of those pennies are just worth 1 cent. But every once in a while, hidden in that pile of copper, is a coin that collectors will pay thousands, even millions, of dollars for. We're focusing on a specific year today, 1953. But not just any 1953 penny. We're talking about the ones with the errors. The ones the mint messed up. During the 1950s, the U.S. Mint was pumping out billions of these pennies. They were made of copper, and they feature the iconic wheat stalks on the back, what we call wheat pennies. But back then, quality control wasn't what it is today. Mistakes happened, and those mistakes are now worth a fortune. Let's say you have a 1953 penny from the Denver Mint. That's the one with the little D under the date. Usually, that's just a common coin, worth a few cents. But if you look closely at that D and see something weird, like it's doubled, or there's a ghost image of another D next to it, you might have a coin worth thousands. This is called a repunched mint mark, or RPM. The workers at the mint used to punch these letters into the dies by hand. If they missed the spot, they'd hit it again. That mistake creates a unique identifier, and collectors pay big money for it. How big? We're talking up to $2,000 for a high-grade example. That's a nice return for a 1-cent investment. But wait, there's more. If your 1953 penny has a D mint mark and the letter looks like it's leaning or has a little tail on it, you could have the FS 502 variety. That's where the second punch landed to the west or left of the first. That little ghost could be worth a few $100 in great condition. Now, let's talk about the big fish. You've probably heard of the 1943 copper penny, right? That's the one where the mint accidentally used copper instead of steel, and they've sold for over $1 million. Those are rare. But the 1953 penny can also have errors that make it worth serious money. We're talking about the double die obverse. If you look at a 1953 penny and the letters Liberty or In God We Trust look like they have a shadow, like they're printed twice, congratulations, you're looking at a $1,000 coin. But here's the part that gets really exciting. I'm not talking about just $100. I'm talking about a potential 7-figure payout. While most sources say the standard 1953 wheat penny is only worth about 15 to 20 cents, error coins are the exception. There have been headlines floating around about wheat pennies worth millions, and while experts often say those are exaggerated, the reality is that specific rare errors and exceptional conditions can command astronomical prices. Some sources suggest that exceptionally rare versions, like the 1955 double die, sell for up to $5,000 or more. And while the 1953 year isn't officially listed as one of the key dates with massive mintages, we know that error versions like the DDO exist. The reason the 1953 penny could be worth so much more is because of how coins are graded. If you have a 1953 penny that is in pristine, uncirculated condition with bright red copper luster, it's automatically worth more than a beat-up one. That's true for any coin. But the search for these valuable pennies is real. People are finding them in old coin collections, estate sales, and even in their own piggy banks. If you have any wheat pennies, you need to check them right now. Get a magnifying glass or a loupe. They're cheap on Amazon. And start looking at the details. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. Look at the letters. If you think you have one, here's what you do next. Do not clean it. Never, ever clean a coin. That destroys its value. Handle it by the edges, put it in a protective sleeve, and take it to a reputable coin dealer. You can also look up prices on professional sites like the NGC or PCGS price guides. But remember, these values depend heavily on the grade. Think about it. Right now, as we speak, there are millions of these pennies sitting in jars, in attics, in forgotten drawers. And one of them might be yours. How wild would it be to know that the reason you're debt-free or taking that dream vacation is because you just looked at a penny a little closer? That could be your story. It happens more often than you think. People like you are finding rare coins that pay off their mortgages. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or are you going to go check your change jar right now? I know I would. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more hidden money secrets. You'd be surprised what little treasures are hiding in plain sight. I'll catch you in the next one. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket change that's worth $1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that a specific 1981 penny with no mint mark and what looks like a bizarre error could actually be that life-changing coin you've been walking past every single day? Today we're going to reveal the secrets of the 1981 Lincoln penny. We're going to tell you the exact mistake to look for and teach you how to spot a fortune hiding in your spare change. You will not believe what people have thrown away. The year is 1981. The United States Mint is churning out pennies by the billions. Philadelphia alone produces 7.4 billion of these coins. They are considered common, unimportant, just a piece of copper to buy a piece of gum. But hidden among those billions are a select few coins that could be worth more than their weight in gold. Before we talk about the $1 million mistake, we gotta rewind. You see, for decades, the U.S. penny was made of 95% copper. They were heavy, had a distinct reddish color, and weighed exactly 3.11 grams. And here is the first mind-blowing fact. Even the most beat-up, ugly 1981 penny is technically worth more than 1 cent. The copper inside alone is worth about 2 to 3 cents today. But that is pocket change compared to the jackpot we are hunting for. So what makes a 1981 penny a potential $1 million coin? Is it the mint mark? Nope. Most 1981 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint don't have a mint mark. That's normal. Is it a double strike? Sometimes, but that's not what we are looking for today. We are looking for the God Bless America variety, or, as some call it, the No Abraham Lincoln error. Picture this. You flip the coin over. You see the Lincoln Memorial. In the center of that memorial, you are supposed to see a tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting in his chair. If you look closely at the reverse, you'll also see the little initials FG on the right side for the designer, Frank Gasparo. But what if that tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln is missing? What if the FG is completely gone? Wait, why would that happen? Did the mint run out of space? No. What if, and hear me out on this, what if there was a unique master hub used to make the dies? A master hub is the original stamp used to make the dies that strike the coins. In rare instances, these hubs can get worn down, damaged, or even polished incorrectly, causing details to disappear. These missing details make the coin one of the most mysterious anomalies in numismatics. The condition is everything. If it is in pristine mint state, uncirculated, this coin could fetch an astronomical price. Now, before you run to your piggy bank, here's the catch. You have to be careful. Most of the time, the missing details on a 1981 penny aren't a $1 million error. They are just the result of a worn-out die, poor strike, or just grime and gunk covering the coin. A dirty coin can hide those details. But the search is on. This leads us to the $1 million question. Are you holding a fortune? The value can range from face value to hundreds of dollars for a high-grade perfect specimen. But some experts suggest that a truly unique error coin could be worth a life-altering sum. But wait, I hear you asking, what about the 1981 S-proof pennies? There are actually two types of proofs from San Francisco, Type 1 with a filled S, mint mark, and Type 2 with a clear S. Those can be worth a decent amount, with the Type 2 PR70 reaching over $1,000. But those aren't our $1 million coin today. Our mystery lies in the missing details on that copper planchet. So what do you do now? Go grab your magnifying glass, or take a high-resolution picture. Look closely at the Lincoln Memorial. Is there a tiny figure of Lincoln sitting in the center? Is there an FG on the right side? If they are completely missing, and the coin looks like it just rolled off the press, then you might be sitting on a potential gold mine. If you spot one, do not touch it with your bare fingers. The oils in your skin can ruin the surface and cut the value in half. Place it gently in a protective sleeve and get it authenticated. Now, look at the coin in your pocket right now. What do you see? Comment below if you have a 1981 penny stashed away, and I will tell you what to look for first. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden coin treasures, make sure to smash that like button. And if you want to discover more secrets hiding in your pocket change, hit subscribe and the bell notification. You never know what you're carrying around. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. What if I told you that the loose change in your pocket right now could be hiding a secret worth $1 million? Not a gold bar, not a rare painting, but a single quarter. And not just any quarter, a 1991 P Washington quarter. You've probably seen one 1,000 times. But I'm about to show you why this specific coin is the holy grail for collectors. So, don't spend that quarter. Hit that like button and stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change your life. We're diving deep into the world of the 1991 P Washington quarter. You might think all coins are just worth 25 cents, but the truth is, under the right conditions, this tiny piece of metal could be worth a staggering amount of money. The standard 1991 P quarter was minted in massive numbers. Over 570 million of them were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. That's a lot of coins. With that kind of volume, you'd think they'd all be worth the same, right? A typical circulated 1991 P quarter is worth only its face value, maybe $1 if it's in great shape. But we're not talking about ordinary coins. We're talking about the extraordinary ones. Here's the mystery. If 570 million of these things were struck, how could one possibly be worth $1 million? The answer lies in the mistakes. You see, when the U.S. Mint strikes a coin, the process is almost perfect. But almost is the key word. Occasionally, things go wrong. The metal doesn't settle right, the dies become damaged, or an error occurs that makes the coin a one-of-a-kind anomaly. To the untrained eye, these errors can look like damage. But to a collector, they are worth a fortune. Let's start with the most common, yet still valuable, type of error, the clipped planchet. The word planchet is just the fancy term for the blank metal disc that gets stamped into a coin. Imagine the machine that cuts these discs out of a long sheet of metal. What if that machine cuts one of the discs and leaves a chunk missing? The result is a coin with a curved, bitten edge. This is called a clipped planchet error. A standard quarter weighs 5.67 grams, but one of these error coins will be slightly lighter. If you have one, it could be worth hundreds of dollars depending on the grade. But wait, there's more. Let's get into the wrong planchet error. This is where things get really strange. Imagine a dime is made of a smaller, lighter metal disc, but somehow, it's fed into the press that is supposed to stamp a quarter. The result is a quarter design squeezed onto a disc meant for a dime. It's too small, the design spills over the edge, and it weighs significantly less, around 2.27 grams instead of 5.67. It looks like the coin is crowded and parts of the design are cut off. These are incredibly rare and valuable. Now let's talk about the missing clad layer. Modern quarters are sandwiches, outer layers of copper nickel with a pure copper core. If that outer layer is missing, the coin will look reddish copper on one side instead of silver-toned. It's a striking visual error, and it's worth a lot of money, often selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another crazy one is the broad strike error. This happens when the collar die, the ring that shapes the coin's edge, fails to deploy. Without the collar to hold it back, the metal is free to spread out, creating a coin that is wider and flatter than normal, with a smooth edge instead of reeded ridges. It looks like someone melted a quarter. But here's where the real money lies. The $1 million dream. We're talking about a die attrition error. Imagine the die, the stamp that strikes the coin, is made of hard metal. Over time, as it stamps millions of coins, the die begins to wear down. On the 1991 P. Washington quarter, there are known cases of severe die attrition. This means the die physically deteriorated, causing parts of the design to vanish. We're talking about the letters in Liberty becoming severely truncated or parts of the national motto, E pluribus unum, getting blurred out. This is not a minor scrape. This is a fundamental breakdown of the coin's design. So, how do you spot these errors in your loose change? First, check the edge. Does it have the standard reeded ridges? Or is it smooth and plain? If it's smooth, you might have a broad strike error on your hands. Second, weigh it. A standard 1991 P quarter weighs exactly 5.67 grams. If it's lighter, particularly if it's around 2.27 grams, you might have the wrong planchet error. If it has a chunk missing, congratulations, you have a clipped planchet. But the $1 million mistake? That is usually found in the details. You need a magnifying glass. Look at the word liberty. Are the letters complete and sharp, or are they partially cut off, looking flat or missing? Look at the motto. Is the unum blurred or missing? If you see any of these flaws, stop. Do not, I repeat, do not try to clean it. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Handle it by the edges, put it in a protective case, and get it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These are the experts who will verify if you've struck gold. Here's the incredible part. A standard 1991 P quarter in pristine, uncirculated condition, MS65 or higher, can sell for around $115. But an error coin, especially one as dramatic as the unum blurring error or a severe die attrition error, changes everything. While the $1 million price tag is the extreme end of the spectrum, error coins have sold at auction for thousands of dollars. For instance, a 1991 D quarter in a high gem grade once sold for nearly $2,000. And the error coins? Those are in a league of their own. Imagine the excitement of realizing that a coin that seems worthless is actually a piece of minting history. Now, I want you to do something right now. Grab that jar of loose change, go to the old coin purse, or check under the couch cushions. Look for a quarter with a P mint mark, dated 1991. Check the edge, weigh it, and look for those missing letters. Tell me in the comments below, have you ever found a weird-looking coin in your pocket? If you do find one of these, you might be sitting on a fortune. Who knows? You might just be holding that $1 million quarter right now. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hidden treasure, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I'm always uncovering hidden money secrets that could be in your backyard, your attic, or, as you just learned, in your very own pocket. Thanks for watching, and good luck hunting. I'll see you in the next video. Do you have a quarter in your pocket that could pay off your mortgage? I'm serious. That loose change sitting in your cup holder? It could be the biggest financial mistake you ever spend. Because in 2021, the United States Mint made a mistake. And that mistake is currently hiding in plain sight, sitting in piggy banks and coin jars all across America. So what is it? Most of you know about the 2021 Washington crossing the Delaware quarter. It's the one with George Washington standing up in a boat, pointing his sword forward. It's a cool design, right? A tribute to the Revolutionary War. But here's the thing the government doesn't want you to know. One specific version of this coin is worth anywhere from a few $100 to potentially $1 million. Stop. Let me say that again. $1 million. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to spot it. But first, let's rewind. Why is this coin even special? You see, 2021 was a transition year. The US Mint just finished a huge 10-year program of quarter designs. They needed to start a new program in 2022. But for 2021, they needed a placeholder. So, they released a coin we all know, the Washington crossing the Delaware quarter. They made billions of them. Just under $1 billion from the Denver Mint, and $998.8 million from the Philadelphia Mint. That's the one with the P Mint mark. Yeah, almost $1 billion coins. So, most of them are worth exactly 25 cents. I could walk into any bank and get a roll of these right now. But here's where it gets fun. The Mint never gets it perfect. They use massive presses to stamp these coins, hundreds of thousands of tons of pressure. And sometimes, things break. This creates what we call mint errors. And that's where the money is. So what are we looking for? Number 1, the die chip. This is the most common error on this coin, but it's the easiest to miss. Specifically, you need to look at Washington's head. Look at the top of his tricorn hat on the right side. Do you see a little raised bump? That is a die chip. Now, a little die chip on his hat might only get you 10 or 20 bucks. That's lunch money. But an expert actually found one of these in a random roll of quarters from the bank. And they sold that single coin for $10 just because of a ding on the hat. If you just found one, you already broke even on the roll. But that's pocket change compared to what we're hunting. We want the big fish. Number 2, the double die obverse. This is where it gets a little controversial. Take a magnifying glass and look at the words, "In God We Trust," or the date, 2021, on the front. If the letters look like they have a shadow or a double outline, that is a double die error. And guess what? A strong double die on this coin, in pristine, uncirculated condition, can sell for upwards of $800. Just for a stamping error. That's a brand new iPhone, folks. Number 3, the missing clad layer. This is the weird one. Our modern quarters aren't pure silver anymore. They're a sandwich, a copper center with a nickel-copper outer layer on top and bottom. But sometimes, the Mint messes up the recipe. If the quarter is missing one of these outer layers, it looks discolored, kind of like a penny. If you have a quarter that's missing that silverish top layer, that coin can fetch between $75 and $200. But you're not here for 200 bucks. You're here because I said $1 million. And this is where it gets serious. Number 4, the strike-through error. Imagine the machine that prints these coins. Usually, it's just metal on metal. But what if some grease, a piece of cloth, or even a metal shaving gets stuck on the die? When the quarter gets stamped, that piece of debris blocks the design. This is rare, and when the design is partially blank. A major strike-through error on the 2021 P quarter in high grade can sell for over $1,000. But we're looking for the holy grail. Number 5, the die cap error. This is the big one. When a coin gets struck, it's supposed to fall out of the press. But sometimes, the coin sticks to the die. Then, the next blank planchet comes in, gets pressed against that stuck coin, and gets a mirror image effect or a weird, cupped shape. A 2021 P Washington quarter with a fully developed, well-struck die cap error, that coin can sell for anywhere from $1,000 to over $3,000. Now, hold on to your hats, because I haven't told you the crazy part yet. I've been talking about specific errors, double dies, die caps, missing layers. But what if I told you that even regular-looking coins, if they are perfect, are worth a fortune? The industry standard for grading is a number from 1 to 70. 70 is perfect, flawless. A coin is graded by experts using magnifying glasses and microscopes. The record for this coin in a near-perfect state? It's high. A coin graded MS-68 sold for $2,777. But here's the kicker. A coin graded MS-69, 1 point higher, basically flawless. That's where the hypothetical $1 million territory lives in the future. You see, there are only a tiny number of these coins in such high grades. Here is the truth. The coin itself didn't start valuable. It started as 25 cents. But because of the tiny production quirks I just told you about, rare pieces have turned into a treasure hunt. If you want to join the hunt, go to your bank right now. Get a roll of 2021 P quarters. Look at the hat. Look at the motto. Look for mistakes. This is real, and the thrill of finding one is electric. Drop a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin? Or are you going to check your change drawer as soon as this video ends? If you want to keep learning how to turn pocket change into a down payment on a house, hit that subscribe button, because I guarantee there are treasures hiding in your house, and they're not where you'd expect. Catch you in the next one.